we're going to pass it around, and please identify yourself and your media outlet when you ask a question, and then we'll address it to each athlete. We'll pass around the microphones. We have 2 on each table, so I appreciate you guys doing that. And then at the end of that, we'll split up and have one-on-one opportunities. So you might decide to talk to one of the athletes up here at the table, and or perhaps you can walk off. We got a lot of room here where you can just space out and do one-on-one interviews. So this segment is going to last 45 minutes, and when we're done with that, the athletes are all going to get a tour of where they're going to wrestle, where they're going to warm up, where they're going to do their press interviews after the tournament is over, and to give you guys a little bit of background of what it's going to be like for you tomorrow. So, without any further ado, though, I would like to start and invite the Street's Executive Director, Brendan Buckley, to come up to talk a little bit about the benefit, about the athletes involved with Beat the Streets, and just what this event means to the sport of wrestling. Brendan?
Thanks a lot, Gary. Welcome, everybody. Just want to say how excited we are at Beat the Streets to run this event. This has always been, our annual benefit. It's our largest annual fundraiser. It supports the organization on a year-round basis. And thanks to our partnership with USA Wrestling and for all the athletes who come to compete in this. This year is obviously unique in Final X. However, we've had some really interesting, unique events over the years at some of New York City's most iconic venues, from an aircraft carrier, US Intrepid, to Times Square, South Street Seaport, Grand Central. And then in 2019, we came here. We realized after having some weather issues that it really made sense for us to come into an arena where we could also open it up to so many more fans. So yeah, it just means a lot, and the stakes are obviously a lot higher. This isn't an exhibition event. This is for a place on the world team, and so we're nothing but honored, grateful to be able to promote the mission of Beat the Streets and the 2,500 student athletes we work with, from all the way probably as young as kindergarten through college age student athletes. And so we're just grateful here. Want to thank our partners, MSG and Hulu Theater, for letting us use this world-class arena, and just the level of professionalism. If you were here in 2019, it was electric. And so the goal is to do the same thing again this year. Obviously, USA Wrestling and Flow Wrestling, want to thank all of them for just promoting what we do and promoting this event. It's a really big event. It really feels like it's a very small number of people that are doing the work of an army, and the work for us, we're still going to be hustling, and we're just elated and grateful and excited. And lastly, we want to thank my staff, all of our staff and volunteers, just working around the clock. None of that would be possible. So we welcome everybody tomorrow. As you know, there will be 2 sessions. We have an after party, which is always a big part of the event, and we welcome everybody to New York City. If there's anything we can do to make your experience better, please just let us know, and best of luck to the reason we're all here, for these athletes, marquee people, some of the best athletes in the world, competing for a spot on the U.S. national team at the World Championship. So best of luck. Thank you very much. Hope it's a great day for everybody tomorrow.
Are there any questions for Brendan? Media? Okay, we'll let you go, Brendan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kind of short. I got to move this down a little bit. So I'd like to introduce the weight classes in weight order that we're going to be competing. The first 5 weights, we'll talk to the athletes that wrestle in bout 1 of each session, and bout 2, bout 3, and we'll work our way down the table. So our first group of athletes that will be competing this week are at 77 kilograms in Greco-Roman, Britton, Holmes, and Kamal Bay. Now, I'll have a question for each, and you guys just pick up the microphone and let her go, okay? Britton, you've trained at the OTC while you were in high school in a small town in Colorado. Then you went up to northern Michigan to train Greco-Roman in college, and now you're part of the Army WCAB, one of the greatest Greco-Roman training centers in the world. Could you talk about how each of these places have impacted you as a wrestler now that you head into Final X?
Yeah, I was fortunate to be able to grow up in Peyton, Colorado, a small ranching town. I graduated with 43 kids in my high school classes. And yeah, as a kid, I was with TC Danzler, and he started Front Range Twisters. And from there, we started going to the training center and starting this Greco dream from the beginning. And I knew about 8th grade is when I really wanted to be all Greco. So that's when I started talking to Rob Herman, who eventually got me to Northern Michigan. And there, competed and just kept the Greco dream. And once COVID hit, I knew I needed to do something, and with that time period of being able to stand still, everyone not wrestling, I decided to go to basic training and get that over with, and that's when I joined the Army team. And I know the Army team's the best place for me, and it's the best team that not only in the U.S. but in the world. So just the training atmosphere, all the partners, and me and Kamal make each other better, and this is why we're the first match out. We're gonna make a big show. So.
Thanks, Britton. Kamal, so some people know a little bit about your career. Obviously, you won a junior world title. You were a high placer at the senior level. And then it's been a little while till this season when you weren't wrestling. And when you won a spot in the Final X, you told me that, hey, I'm back. So could you tell us a little bit about that journey that brings you back to 2 matches away from going back to the World Championships?
For you guys to know, Kamal Bay once again. See a lot of young faces here. I want to say, hey, best shows in front of you. All you guys wrestling that beat the streets, New York. Just as far as being back, it's the family atmosphere that the wrestling community provides. So after my suspension, when you signed up for a year, I just kind of tried to win in the best situation possible. So I ended up going to basic training, joining the world-class athlete program after that, and it's been a long road just as far as staying healthy and still keeping that unshakable mindset that no matter what, I'm gonna keep striving forward. But as far as I always like to bring the excitement. I love a good show, and competing, especially with Britton. If you guys don't know, me and Britton are both partners at 77 kilos, representing the world-class athlete program, and we got this thing where 77 dominates the room. So all the other weight classes kind of stay away from us because we go crazy. It's a good time. That camaraderie and that friendship. Me and Britton actually grew up together when I moved out to Colorado. When I moved out to Colorado, we were coached by the same coach, TC Danzler, and we've been friends ever since. So it's going to be lights out at the very least for this match.
So can we expect a couple of good throws? What do you think?
That's all me and Britton do. Body locker bus, right?
Thank you, guys. So we'll go to the next weight class at 72 kilograms in women's freestyle. Skylar Grote against Amit Elor. Skylar, I'll start with you. You're a Jersey girl. You attended school at Blair, and you've been early in your career, even when you were a teenager, a member of the New York Athletic Club. Obviously, you wandered off to Canada for college, but you're back now in the States for sure. But you get to wrestle in your first Final X here in New York City, here in Madison Square Garden's Theater. What's that mean to you to be able to come back home and put it on the line for your family and friends?
Yeah, it's awesome being back on the East Coast. I'll always be an East Coast girl, but right now I'm living in Oregon, and that's been a home to me too. But yeah, it's great to come back, see my parents, see my family. I have a whole bunch of family and friends that get to come watch me tomorrow, so it's awesome.
And you've trained for a while, and you've been really able to get some good successes, but you have a chance to make a senior world team. How do you feel this season went for you as far as your competition and the strides you've taken to make it to the top match?
Yeah, so I moved out to Oregon last July, and I think that just my improvement in the last year has been crazy. You know, I have great coaches at Oregon State, Chris, Nate, Mike Kasoy. They've all spent a lot of time. They're super invested in my wrestling, and we can see that. You know, I won my first US Open title not too long ago. I won senior Pan Ams in Mexico, and now I'm here at the finals of Final X. So, you know, it's exciting, and I've had great coaches my whole career. I went to Blair Academy for high school. I had great coaches there who are going to be in attendance tomorrow, so I'm truly blessed with that.
Thanks a lot, Skylar. Speak to Amit over here. In case you didn't realize, she's just finishing high school, okay? So we're talking about a wonderful talent. But Amit, you've won world titles in 2 levels as an age group wrestler, but this is your first year competing at the senior Olympic level. Could you talk a little bit about that experience and kind of things that you learned or maybe you didn't expect once you decided to move on up and take a run at making the senior world team?
Yeah, it feels really exciting to be competing as a senior finally. And I feel like it's just a really good learning experience, and it's teaching me how to be more of a professional athlete, everything from diet to discipline with training. And I'm really excited to go out there and test myself and have fun wrestling.
You also are with the New York City Regional Training Center. You spent a little time here with the coaches. Talk a little bit about New York, because you're a California girl. You spent a lot of time here, aren't you?
Yeah, so I first came over here when I was 14, and I started wrestling at the New York RTC. And so this is like my second home over here. I'm staying down in Jersey City, so it's really just a 30-minute train ride to get here. So it's really cool to get to wrestle in Final X over here. Yeah, I'm really thankful.
Thank you very much, Amit. So we're going to move up to 65 kilograms in men's freestyle. Our 2 athletes are Evan Henderson and Yianni Diakomihalis. I'll start with Evan. Evan, you've been wrestling for a long time. You've been to some different training places, been able to compete at a high level in a lot of competitions. But this year, obviously, you've made it to the finals of Final X. You put together some really good competitions in the last few months. Could you talk a little bit about some of the influences and things that are making things go right for you this year, and just the people and the situation that you can credit for getting to a spot where you can be on the senior world team?
Yeah, it's like I'm just sitting here thinking about all the RTCs that I've been a part of and all the coaches that have helped me through my journey. In case you guys didn't know, I was with New York City RTC a couple years ago, and then my last RTC that I was with was out of Ithaca. So I was with Coach Gray, I was with Coach Valentine, Coach Cross, and then even before that, you go back to when I was at Campbell, assistant coach at Campbell, with Kerry Colat. So, but the thing that I love though right now is that I'm with Ohio State, and their coaching staff is amazing. Jay Jaggers, Bo, Logan, and Tom. I mean, they test me. You know, they test me every day in the room. You know, and with the guys that we have in there, it's great. I love it.
Thanks, Evan. Yianni, last summer on the senior world team, you won many age group level events, but you earned a spot and were able to compete in Oslo. And we're in a spot now where you have an opportunity to go with us to Serbia and make another senior world team. What's this year been like for you? Obviously, college was back in the picture, and it's certainly curious about your takeaways from your first senior worlds.
You know, I think in the past I was really looking forward to making the team, and you know, all the training we were doing was get on the team, get on the team, get on the team. And now, obviously, I'm not looking past that, but I think I'm kind of holding myself to a standard of, you know, what are the best guys in the world doing, and you know, what do I have to do to succeed at that level? So, you know, I feel like the biggest improvement I made was, you know, I mean, and you can see it when I won match 3 to make the world team in the fall. I was really excited, and you know, I didn't have the world championships that I wanted. So I think now, you know, my standards have changed a little bit, and there's a certain amount of skill and wrestling output that I expect of myself.
And have things gone well for you in your preparation for this event? Here in this great state of New York, I just want to mention the fact that we got another New Yorker here. By the way, I was born in Brooklyn, so.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome wrestling back home. I feel extremely prepared for this, and you know, having it be so close to my home state, being able to have all my teammates, my friends, family here is awesome. And I'm really excited, you know, counting the hours until I can wrestle tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, Yianni, I appreciate it. Our next weight class is 84 kilograms in Greco. We have Vera against Timothy Young. I'll start with Alan. Alan, people may know that you're an immigrant from Cuba, but they may not know that you live in New Jersey and that you're from this region since you've settled here. And could you talk a little bit about being able to compete for another spot on the world team, but here in where it's become your backyard, right? What's that like for you to come into the Garden and give it your best tomorrow?
Well, the first thing is thank you everyone for coming on, and yeah, Gary, like you say, I've been wrestling here in New York before, but this one has something special. I get emotional, but I know how I can handle this. I get my family, my wife, I get the coaches, my teammates, I get some neighbors, so they come to watch me too. And I just have to put in everything together, so just do what I have to do, or what I've been doing for the last 20 years. So I get so many ups and downs, so this is my second chance to make the world team. I'm so much different than last year. I'm just ready to go.
And were there things from Oslo that you've put into practice in your preparation for this event?
Yeah, right away I finished in Oslo, so I have my knee surgery, and I make some connection for recover, so get help from the coach team. And I'm pretty sure you know, I've been in Ukraine, Kiev, for 2 months and a half. Unfortunately, I had to get out for the situation what they have over there. I get some emails, some calls, just try to get out as soon as possible. By the way, so I can compete in Saturday, Croatia, because I get a COVID over there, so they cancel all the flights, hopefully I get out, and I've been training on the mat, so this is my main reason why I feel more confident. So I get more teammates, training partner, specific coaches. It's also like I feel, you know, like I said before, ready to go. So it's something different.
Excellent, thank you, Alan.
Absolutely, thank you.
To my left is Timothy Young. Timothy, could you talk just a little bit about your background? I mean, you're 2 matches away from going to the Senior Worlds, and I'm not sure many people know your backstory. And if you could, tell us about how you got connected into the sport of Greco-Roman wrestling.
Yeah, I'm from Aurora, Illinois, and how I got connected with Greco was a coach named Jake Harrell and Nate Pisecki. And I didn't find Greco. Greco really found me my freshman summer. And those guys were like, hey, you're great at folk style, but you need to wrestle Greco. You have the body type for it, so you need to jump in there and do it. And he's followed me all throughout my career, just been that little voice in the back of my head before every match, hey Tim, this is what you need to do before your match. And when I was getting out of college at Old Dominion, right after the program was canceled, he's like, Tim, are you gonna wrestle Greco? Dude, like, this is your chance. COVID just hit. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, all right, well, think about it and come back to me. And I really wasn't finding my way without wrestling. And so I was like, you know what, let me get back to wrestling and what I love. And I called Coach Lindland. I was like, hey, I'm ready to come back to Greco. He's like, all right, come out to a camp. And I called my coach, Hector Gomez, and he's like, I'm looking for an athlete to sponsor, and you'd be perfect. So AAU, they've been taking care of me ever since last year, and things have been great with them. So that's how I came back to the sport.
Did you expect success this quickly since you came back to Greco?
I think I was expecting more success since last year because I've been sticking with it. I was expecting to do better than the year before, and if not, that means I need to change some things. So I think I did expect success.
Well, thank you very much, and good luck tomorrow. You have an opportunity again, right?
Thank you.
And our final weight class is 125 kilograms in freestyle. Hayden Zillmer against Nick Gwiazdowski. I'm going to start with Hayden. You've wrestled 92 and 97 at times in the senior level, but made the big move up to be with the big men in heavyweight. And could you talk a little bit about your teammate, training partner, Olympic champion Gable, and he's from your RTC, and how he might have helped you in your transition to heavyweight. And you have an opportunity here to be the #1 heavyweight in the United States this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, like you said, I moved up from 92, 97, and then heavyweight. But yeah, 97 happened with the Olympic year and how the medals worked out. 97 was an opportunity, so I moved up. 92 was a little bit of a cut for me, and I just, I don't perform the best when I do that. But so I made that move up. Gable was kind of a factor. Walked in the room one day, he was like, "Why don't you just go heavyweight?" So yeah, I wrestled heavyweight and kind of a little bit of confidence. But yeah, we've been partners for the last 5 years, and it's been great. He's amazing, and became good friends and push each other every day, and it's amazing.
Does he have you do those backflips, or do you got something that he's got worked out for you this week?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see if I can hit a backflip. We'll see.
Well, thanks a lot, Hayden. That's great. To my right here is Nick Gwiazdowski, 2-time world medalist for the United States. Again, we've got a real theme here. He's a native of New York, grew up in the Albany area, went to Binghamton for his first year in college, and went down to North Carolina State, where he not only excelled in college, but became one of the best wrestlers in the world. You recently returned back to your home state here, and you're training down at Cornell and, with the Spartan Combat and helping coach athletes down there. Nick, could you talk a little bit about returning home for your training and also an opportunity to wrestle here in New York City again?
Yeah, it was a good point in my career. Coach Gray gave me a call one day, and it made sense for where I was in my career, and kind of see some different looks, be around different people, and get some time back in New York as well. As for competing here, I think this is maybe the third time. I think I wrestled here in 16 at the NCAAs, and then in 19 at the Beat the Streets. It's New York City, it's a special event. They're always going to do things big. And I've always enjoyed it. I got a lot of people coming down, support. It's just, people see New York City, they want to come because it's a great event for good reason. So I'm looking forward to it, be at my best.
Thanks a lot, Nick. So at this point, we're going to open up for questions from journalists. I've got a volunteer who's going to hand around the microphone. If you have a question, please raise your hand. She'll bring you the mic. Identify yourself and your media outlet, and then ask a specific athlete to speak. If you guys could pass around the handhelds when that person gets a question, that would be wonderful. Okay, raise your hand. Who wants to go first?
Kyle Klingman, Flow Wrestling. Question for Kamal Bey. You started the Smack Talk with Pat Smith in 2019 Final X. First of all, why does Pat Smith warrant Smack Talk after Benji Peak did it, and why no Smack Talk for Britton?
Britton gets Smack Talk 24/7 in the practice room. It's just one of those things. We grew up together. Like I said, we grew up together. He's a friend of the family. I'm a friend of his family. So we're just gonna let it fly on the mat. That's pretty much what it is.
I'm not sure you answered the question about Pat Smith.
It wasn't really an insult. I said he was built like a Honda Civic, fuel efficient, because he has a gas tank. That was a compliment.
Okay. Next question. Raise your hand, please.
Question for Amit. Excuse me. You're the youngest competitor, I believe, here at Final X. When did you first start setting goals to be that you would eventually get to this level and be try to win senior world medals?
Well, it was my dream to go to the Olympics ever since I was 4 years old. So I feel like I've had these goals since I was really young. But at the moment, my goal is to make a senior world team. I like to take it one step at a time. And yeah, I've always wanted to be the best at whatever I decided to do. So yeah, it's kind of a mentality. Thank you.
Next question.
This is a question for Britton. I'm Josh Smith with the School of the New York Times. Britton, Kamal is someone who is credited as being more explosive and someone who can score points from every position. However, you've been in this position before with Ravon Perkins and you've pulled off the upset. What lessons have you taken from your fight with Ravon Perkins, and kind of what do you do in terms of mentality to prepare for this fight?
Yeah, I don't look at those as upsets in my head. I know that's probably the mentality part of me. I knew I was going out there and wrestling my match, and Rayvon had to wrestle me. So I'm thinking that same way. Kamal has to wrestle me. I'm a dog. I like to fight, and everyone that comes to wrestle me, they feel it too. They don't enjoy it. So same thing, going out there and wrestling my match. That's how I go about it. But I know I work harder than anyone else. In my own opinion, I work harder than anyone else in the whole room, in the world. So I'm ready to put it out there and let it fly. So.
Next question.
Don't be shy.
Oh, come on, we gotta have something, JD.
You're in the back.
I just volunteered somebody. Right over there.
So, Britton, if you're a dog, are you the type of dog that prefers chew toys or balls thrown and chasing? And what would Kamal be in this scenario?
You trying to start the trash talk? All I'm saying is, I'm a DAWG. It's not a DOG. I'm a dog. Okay? So get it right. And then 2, that's for Kamal to decide, because I know I'm a big mean dog, and I actually have a GSP, bird hunting dog. So I would say I'm a GSP. I'm hunting. I'm out here to kill. So thank you.
Evan, you've been around the block. You've been graduated from North Carolina for a handful of years now. What was different this time around that allowed you to at least make it to here to finalize?
Being in a room with a bunch of killers, you know, being in, not to say I wasn't in the room with killers at other RTCs or anything like that, but at Ohio State, I mean, every single guy in there that plays hands on me wants to, you know, they want to come in and they want to beat the old guy. You know, I think I have like, on some of those guys I got 10 years. So it's like, when you got a young buck coming in, they want to put it to you. You wake up the next morning hurting a little bit, but you can't let them get anything, you know. So, and day in and day out like that, it's helped me. It helps me stay focused. You know, if I go in and get my butt kicked, you know, I got to recalibrate a little bit and go in there and kick their butt the next day.
Next question.
Christian Powell's Flow Wrestling. Question for Yianni. Evan mentioned the Ohio State room full of killers. Evan was at Cornell. He trained with you for a long time. What did you learn training alongside Evan, and what was that training like?
We 2 in Ithaca are killers. Just throwing that out there.
Didn't say you weren't.
No, yeah. Hendo was good because I mean, you don't have to be a genius to know this. He's really different. The way he wrestles is kind of crazy, wide open, wrestles a lot of freestyle positions. So, you know, there was a learning curve being in the room with Hendo, and as it went, you know, my skills developed. So I actually, you know, he was really helpful being in the room with me. You know, spent a lot of time in, you know, chest wrap, freestyle, Merkle, a lot of stuff like that. So he really helped me build my skills just by, you know, challenging me in positions that normally I just win right away. So I'm glad to have had him in the room.
Thanks, John.
Another question? Right over here.
Hi, I'm Sydney from the School of the New York Times. Question for Amit. As a young wrestler and also as a girl, what is your goals and hopes to inspire young girls to get into the sport of wrestling?
I want to inspire girls that wrestling, anybody can do it, and that it's really fun, and that it'll empower you and make you feel stronger, and that girls can wrestle just like guys.
Anyone else? One more. After this question, I think we'll break into one-on-one, so make it a good one, okay?
Nelson Lamb, School of the New York Times. Zillmer, how has wrestling with Gable changed both your confidence on the mat as well as work out as a team?
It's great. He's like nobody else. He's 270 pounds and he moves like he's a 125 pounder. Every day I wrestle with him. It's kind of like a learning curve. It's kind of a chess match. Some days I feel like I maybe gain something, or I get better in a position that I can maybe attack and score. And the next day, kind of made adjustments, and we're back to square one where I'm wrestling a super big guy, super powerful, and like I said, he moves like a 25-pounder. He's amazing. So
at this point, we're going to break out into one-on-ones. Athletes, you can either stay up here, the journalists will come to you, or they may ask you to walk to another part of the arena. We're going to do this until about 1:15, and then the athletes will go get their tour. So it's an opportunity to talk to a specific athlete if you would like, and really appreciate everyone being here. Let's go.